Hi, folks. I'm Gene McLaughlin. I'd like to welcome you to Old Bridge Outlook with Mayor Owen Henry. Today, we're bringing you a special edition of the Mayor's program to talk about an important program that's going to be introduced into the township. And to help us with this, I'm going to talk to the Mayor right now. Mayor, could you set this up a little bit about the energy aggregation program? Please.
This is a road we tried to go down. Well, we started this process, Gene, about 2 years ago. We know there's an opportunity out there. We've seen it in other communities, other parts of the state, where the residents of a town have the ability to pool all their electric meters together and go out and put that out for bid and get a better price for their consumption of energy, just the energy portion of their bill. So as a mayor, I thought that was an opportunity.
Right.
So we started down this path about 2 years ago. We tried it once. It wasn't financially feasible to do it. Now it is. So now there's the opportunity for the residential meters here in Old Bridge to save 15% on their electric buying energy here in Old Bridge. So I think it's a great program. If we didn't go down this road, I think you would find fault in my administration. Here's an opportunity to guarantee you savings for the next 21 months. And as I said, there's been towns that have done this 1, 2, and 3 times already.
Really?
So it is very successful. It's a safe program, and I think the residents are going to be happy with it. They're going to be saving an average of maybe $10 to $11 a month, which adds up to a lot of money.
Definitely, yeah.
And I look at it as an opportunity to give back to the residents. I mean, their taxes have gone up over the last couple of years, so this is an opportunity to get that money back in their pocket. They received a letter that detailed some of the the characteristics of the program, what it's going to do, the average savings, and when you take all that savings together and put them all together, it's a big pot of money that's available here to go back into the local economy. So I think everybody should be comfortable with it. If anyone has any questions or concerns about the program, there's numbers to call. Go to the website. I hope today this show will provide the residents the information they need to feel comfortable. They're in the program, and if they want to get out of the program, there's a way to get out of it.
Okay.
And I think it's a really good opportunity, so let's take advantage of it.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Folks, the Mayor just alluded to a letter that you probably received already talking about this program. To help us today, inform you, to bring you greater detail, we're pleased to welcome our guest, the Executive Vice President of Gabel Associates, Robert Chilton. Robert, thanks for coming in today. We appreciate you being with us.
Absolutely.
Robert, if you could lead us off here, what is community energy aggregation for those of us who have never heard the term before?
Which is probably most. So community energy aggregation is a system that was set up under the state law when the state deregulated and changed the way the electric industry is structured. They provided community energy aggregation as another way in which residents would have the availability to get power supply. So under the old regime 20 years ago, JCP&L owned everything. They owned the power plants, they owned the transmission, the high voltage transmission lines bringing power from afar to the local system. They owned the local delivery system, the meters, the billing systems, everything. Under the restructuring that happened about 15 years ago, the power supply part of the arrangement was deregulated, if you will. And JCP&L, for example, sold their power plants off. Power is now provided in a competitive marketplace, and JCP&L still owns the delivery systems.
Right.
So JCP&L, they go out in the wholesale market under state rules and obtain power supply for those folks who buy everything soup to nuts from JCP&L.
Okay.
The restructured industry also gave residents and in fact, all customers, the additional option of buying from third-party suppliers.
That's where we are
Those
now.
are those marketers that can, call your home, send you flyers, et cetera. Now, community energy aggregation is a third option. It's sort of, I look at it as sort of somewhere in between. You get the benefits of the competitive marketplace, but you get the protections that perhaps are not available in the sort of Wild West of just going on your own and negotiating a third-party supply contract. So in short, it's another method by which, another option of power that residents have to get their power either from JCP&L, a third-party supplier, or through an energy aggregation program.
Okay, thank you, Bob. If I read this letter correctly, and again, folks, we're going to be referring to this letter you received, so you may be able to follow along. You talk about the South Jersey industry. They are the providers of the power now. Is that correct?
That's correct. South Jersey Energy is a third-party supplier licensed by the Board of Public Utilities.
Yes, sir.
They were one of 5 suppliers that bid on this business, and they were the low bidder. As I said, they're licensed by the Board of Public Utilities. They've been in the business of providing retail power supply to customers in Jersey for the better part of 15 years, since near the beginning of deregulation of the state. So they've been around a long time.
Okay.
They are actually part of a corporate structure that includes South Jersey Gas, a regulated gas company, some other companies that do construction of energy plants, things of that nature. So they're part of a corporate structure that's been in the state for decades.
Okay, thank you. Bob, I introduced you as a employee of Gabel Associates,
Correct.
Executive Vice President. Where does Gabel Associates fit into this mix?
So Gabel Associates, we are a energy consultant. We're also an energy agent. Again, we are registered with the Board of Public Utilities. So we are essentially, we were procured by and retained by the township. We work for the township. We are basically the firm entrusted to administer the bidding process to procure a third-party supplier.
okay.
So we are a buyer's agent. We are, we answer to the township, and we're working in the township's interest. So we helped put together the bid documents. We helped with, we were the interface with the Board of Public Utilities. All of this whole program and all the details have been run through the Board of Public Utilities. So we have facilitated that process. We finalize the bid documents. We run the bid on behalf of the township. And then when the bid results come in, we brought those results back to the township for their consideration. So we basically are a buyer's agent. We are the township's energy consultant.
Okay, fair enough. If I can turn to the nitty-gritty of this entire thing that the mayor alluded to,
Sure.
how we're going to save the residents some money. If I read the letter properly, residents who participate in this will pay 0.8615 cents per kilowatt hour.
Correct.
If they went with JCP&L, they'd pay about 10 cents per kilowatt hour.
Right. The
That's where
average
savings come from.
JCP&L price is about 10.1 cents, averaging the summer and the winter rates, which are somewhat different.
Okay, and again, referring to the letter, just so we can keep the residents
Sure.
on track here. This is a 21-month endeavor or contract.
Correct. It's a fixed price. It's a non-variable price that runs. The contract starts in March of this year,
Yes,
and
sir.
runs through December of 2017. And during that time, the contract terms are set. The price is set under the terms of the contract. At the end of the contract, if the township is happy with the results and the market is still in a good place, they can rebid for a replacement contract that would start in December of 2017, or they can just simply have everyone go back to JCP&L, back where they are currently.
I see. And Mayor, you alluded to the fact it's about $10 or $11 a month saving, and over the 21
average.
months, it's about $240. Aggregated about a $4.3 million
Right back
savings.
here into the local economy and right back into the taxpayers' pockets. So it's,
That's a significant amount of
it
money.
is. It's a lot of money.
Significant amount of money. Okay. Thank you for that, Bob, if I may. Second thing you mentioned in here is there's a second piece of this, a renewable energy piece. How does that work, and why is that in there?
Okay, so that is provided simply as a voluntary option. What we did in this contract when we put it out to bid is we indicated to suppliers that they were required to provide a product with an enhanced amount of renewable energy. So just to take a half a step back,
Yeah.
the state requires that all power supply have at least about 15% renewable energy. But there are a growing number of folks in municipalities throughout the state that are asking for a higher green energy content to improve their sustainability and their carbon footprint, things of that nature. So this is provided as an option for those folks. It's not mandatory. It doesn't impose the higher amount on renewable energy on everyone. But it says for those folks that want to have a product with 25% renewable, that option is available to them. It's a small price premium of about 3%.
Right.
Because if there's more green energy, that's a little more expensive. And those folks can choose that option, and they would still get about a 12% savings. The price
Instead of 15% under the straight.
Exactly.
under the
So you
straight
save a
program.
little less, but still save significant, close to $10 a month. And you would have a 25% renewable energy component to the power supply provided to your home.
Okay, now, the contract. If I read this correctly, this is an opt-out contract.
Correct.
Which means exactly what to the residents? What should
So
they
what-
understand?
What that means is that under this program, which is again done under the Board of Public Utilities
sir.
rules, all eligible customers, and I'll describe what eligible means in a moment.
Yes,
but
please.
The customer pool, they're initially included in the eligibility pool. So the supplier, when we go out to bid, the supplier is looking at a large chunk of potential customers, which provides the basis for the bid.
Right.
And that's why we had 5 bidders. They saw a large potential group of customers, a very
Right.
attractive block of energy. So folks are initially included in the process if they already either do not have their own third-party supply contract. Those residents are removed from the program. And those folks who have their own solar energy supply systems on their roofs are also initially excluded from the program. So the remaining folks, and it's about 75% of the folks in town, it's a little under 18,000 out of about 24,000 households in the township are initially eligible. But what happens then is once we start the process, all those 18,000 or so eligible folks are notified through this letter that you've been referring to, and we've also done outreach and we've done postings on the township's website.
Yes, sir.
So those folks are presented with the details of the program, and then they are given the option to opt out of the program if they, for whatever reason, do not want to participate. So basically the initial eligibility pool is a large pool, but anyone in that pool can opt out anytime they wish.
Okay, to look at it another way, if they choose to stay in the program, they do nothing.
Correct.
No action is required, folks. If you get this letter, you want to stay with the program, no action is required. Now, let's say I want to opt out. What do I do?
So you can do one of several things. The package that went out to all the eligible customers included that letter, as you alluded
Yes,
to.
sir.
It also included a postage paid postcard. So you can simply sign that, send it back. It goes back to South Jersey Energy. They will, check your name off and take you out of the program. You can call the toll-free number in the letter of South Jersey Energy.
Right.
You can email. There's an email address in that letter for South Jersey Energy. Or Gabel Associates, the township's consultant, also has a program-specific, Old Bridge program-specific email address. And we also have a toll-free number you can call, contact us, and we will put you on the list to then notify South Jersey to remove you from the program.
Okay, and we'll put this information up on the screen, Bob,
Yes.
just for everybody's benefit. Mayor, one question I would ask, looking at this, why would residents choose not to participate in this when this savings is potentially out there or guaranteed out there?
I can't think of a valid reason not to participate in it, but I'm sure people sometimes don't want to be told what to do. Sometimes there's a fear factor involved. Change, change is good. Except when
government coming in.
Big Brother, but
Right.
I look at it as right now, Big Brother is telling them who to buy their electric from. Here, we're giving them an option.
Yeah, right
You know,
now they're a captive supplier of
It's First
JCP&L.
Energy.
Yeah,
First
captive
Energy, they're
customer,
supplying their
yeah.
power.
Yes.
And if they wanted an option to go out, they had to do that on their own. They had to go out and negotiate with a third-party provider. Now we've taken all that risk out of that process. We are now providing, I think, a really good alternative now than First Energy, what they have right now. And if they're in a third-party program already, they're not coming out unless they get out on their own. And I don't know what their deals that they have, but I know a couple of years ago there was a lot of concern
Right.
with those third-party providers. They were very pushy, and you enrolled yourself in these systems, and it found out that they weren't so great when we had 2 bad winters in a row. Their actual, their bills went up. That's not going to happen with this program.
Which I think is a major
Yes.
selling point, Bob.
So I
the
think
guaranteed
the only
nature of
reason
it.
you would not want to participate, I would think, would be a lack of knowledge, not really knowing, not
right.
understanding what we are doing here. And I think that would be a reason why someone wouldn't participate. They just don't know enough.
Okay.
They don't know. They don't have all the answers.
Right.
They have a
Thank you.
fear that fear
And
of the
hopefully,
unknown.
folks, we're clarifying some of
Yes.
these points for you right now. If I may, Bob, turn to another thing, billing. A couple things with the bills. One bill still from JCP&L, 2 bills.
That's correct. So right now on your JCP&L bill, if you don't have a third-party supplier, you see delivery charges on your bill, and then you see a power supply line item, which in the JCP&L's parlance is called basic generation service. So that's a line item you have. So under this program, you would still receive a single bill from JCP&L. What would happen simply is that the JCP&L power supply line called basic generation service would be replaced with a South Jersey Energy line item for power supply. So you'd still see delivery charges and you still see power supply charges, but just the name of the supplier would change. It would say South Jersey Energy, and the price would change. It would be 15% lower.
Okay, but as I said, only one bill. As
Correct,
they get
one
there.
bill.
Okay, now, suppose I'm on one of these budget billing kind of things that people get $100 a month every month regardless. How does that work then?
So one of the requirements in the bid that we put out in the contract that was the supplier had to sign with the township required that for all those customers that currently have budget billing or what we call equal payment plan, EPP arrangements, is the supplier has to provide that same service. So what would happen is that for example, now, if you have a monthly payment of $100, and just round numbers, let's say $30 of that is the delivery portion of JCP&L's service,
Yes, sir.
and $70 worth is the power supply portion. What would happen now is your budget billing amount will go down to, say, roughly, let's say $90, which would consist of still of JCP&L's $30 sort of flat amount per
Right.
month for delivery, and then the old $70 amount that was JCP&L's amount for power would be replaced by, say, a $60 amount from
Right.
South Jersey Energy. So you, in the end, you'd still see one bill.
Right.
You'd still see a flat amount every month, but the amount would go lower than currently because the rate for power supply is 15% cheaper.
Right, okay, so that is an interesting point. The budget component is still present.
That's
One last thought. Occasionally around here, during the summertime, we have power outages. What happens if there's a power outage?
So as far as power outage or the provision of delivery service, there is no change.
There is no change.
This is just the delivery of power on the high voltage system. The maintenance of the delivery system is JCP&L's responsibility now. It will remain JCP&L's because they're still getting, as I described a couple of minutes ago, the delivery charge is on JCP&L's bill. It will remain there. They're getting paid under rates regulated by the Board of Public Utilities.
Right.
They provide what's called safe, adequate, and proper delivery service. They're responsible, and they get compensated for that service. So they are still getting compensated for delivery service through the bill, and there's still responsibility for maintaining the reliability of the delivery system. So if there's any outage at all, it's no different than currently. You call JCP&L, and they send their linemen and women out to climb the poles and fix the power, put the poles back up, whatever it is.
Okay, thank you. One last thought. There is some talk about a drop dead date or a drop out by date. What is that date?
So with a contract that starts in March,
Yes, sir.
that requires lead time for South Jersey Energy to enroll all those folks into the program. And the lead time is a minimum of 20 days before the meter read date. Kind of technical.
okay.
So that means that by around February 10th at the latest, South Jersey Energy has to start submitting the enrollments to JCP&L to let them know that they will now be let JCP&L know that the South Jersey Energy is the new supplier. So if you back that up, that means the initial opt-out period is going to end a few days before February 10th. So South Jersey will have that initial list of eligible customers that they will enroll. So the 30-day period means the mailing went out right around New Year's.
Yes, sir.
And so February 5th is the Friday, the first Friday in February. So that's basically the end of that 30-day period. Then the following week, South Jersey will take all those folks who have not opted out, enroll them with JCP&L. Now, if for whatever reason a customer does not opt out during the first 30-day period, and they choose 2 weeks later they want to opt out, that's fine. They're allowed to do that.
They can opt out at any time.
What
That's
would
the other
happen in
piece.
that is if they opt out after the initial 30-day period, what would happen is they would be enrolled for 1 month.
1 month.
So but then their opt out would kick in and they'd be out by their April meter read. So they'd save $10 or so before they went back out at the worst case scenario.
Right. Okay, folks. So for your purposes, opt-out date would be February 5th. But if you miss that, you don't opt out by then, you still have the option to opt out at a later date at any time, as I understand.
That's correct.
Okay, well, thank
What
you, Bob.
about bring up about
Yes, please.
opting in? Like if somebody opted out
Yep.
and they see their neighbor saving,
Yep.
I want in now.
Right.
How
Great.
does someone get back? How does someone get into the program once it starts?
It's a great question,
point.
and in
Thank
fact,
you,
I wanted to amplify a discussion a few moments ago about why folks wouldn't want to be part of the program and the initial fear factor. Our experience has been in other towns that we've done these programs. and they're up for second time around. In fact, in Plumstead, they're now on their third contract. Our experience has been, the first time around, there's a portion of folks that are,
For whatever
reason, they're reluctant and they
Sure.
opt out. And our experience has been in Monroe Township, in Plumstead Township, and other towns that the second time around, there are more folks trying to ask how to get in than are opting out. So, after the first go through, they talk to their neighbors, et cetera, and say, hey, I saved money. There were there's no fine print. Hey, I want to get in. So that's sort of just an observation on that whole question about why you wouldn't want to be in. But it's specifically to answer the mayor's question, anyone can opt in at any time, just like you can opt out. So if you have a third-party supply contract, for example, you're not initially eligible. And as you mentioned correctly so, the rules are set up so that those folks that have contracts now are not initially included for the main reason that no one knows except for the folks who signed those contracts what those contracts say. So a lot of contracts, not this program, but contracts that people enter into on their own may have an early termination fee or something of that nature. So we don't want to encourage people to get out of their existing contract if it might trigger a $100 early termination fee.
Right.
So we simply leave it up to those folks. Encourage folks to read their current contracts. If they're comfortable that it will benefit them and not cause any penalties or things of that nature, and if you want to come into the program, you can call JCP&L, cancel your contract with your current supplier, and then you can call South Jersey Energy and opt into the Old Bridge Community Energy Aggregation Program, and they will let you in at the same price. So
Okay.
that is an option available to anyone.
So the resident
who
who opted out, because they were never in the program to begin with. So
Right.
someone who has opted out of the program, their vehicle to opt into the program would be to call
South Jersey
Energy.
That's
Okay.
correct. Yep.
Okay, thank you, Bob, for a very good explanation. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And folks, we've tried to walk you through this letter that you've received, and we urge you to read it attentively, and take action accordingly to opt out. If you have to do that, you do it by February 5th, or no action if you want to stay with the program. And Mayor, any final thoughts on this?
Gene, I ask everyone just, before you opt out, try it. If you don't see savings within a month or two, then opt out. But I believe it's a win-win situation.
Right.
It's win for the town. It's win for the consumer, and I can't see anyone making a negative criteria here of why you shouldn't participate in this program. It's proven. Other parts of the state, other towns. When I speak to residents of other towns, they really enjoy it. They like it. They see real savings in their energy. So, and we've been doing it for the town. One of the things when I first became mayor, one of the first things I did was put our energy load out, the municipal buildings,
Yes,
the
sir.
municipal meters, and it's led to huge savings for the taxpayers. We're paying a lot less for our street lights, for the power used in this building. It's something that everyone should be doing. So
Okay.
let's go.
Well, folks, I think we all like to save some money. Here's your opportunity to save some money. If you do have any questions, we are going to put up on the bulletin board on the screen the numbers for you to call at South Jersey, or the email addresses if you care to write them, and also the numbers of Gabel Associates if you have any questions with those folks. We want to thank you for watching. We do urge you to consider this program carefully. We'll be coming back to you with another Old Bridge Outlook with Mayor Henry. Please stay with us, and we'll see you next time. Take care.